Hello, I hope you're all doing well today, and welcome back to the Crystal Domain. Now, today we are covering the Crystal Beast Structure Deck. This is a deck that you can pick up from Walmart, Target, LGS, whatever. Really easy to find, still to this day, and it costs $10 to $15 per wherever you're at, tax, etc. But the idea being is that you only need one of these in domain format versus in advanced you would want to buy three. So, with a single copy of this, we're going to take this 40 card deck with two extra deck monsters, and we are going to take some stuff out, add some stuff in, and go from a structure deck that could not play domain format to a deck that is legal to play in domain format. That way you can at least get started before delving into other kind of gimmicks. So, with that in mind, the biggest question, if you are a first-time viewer, is what is domain format? Domain format is an alternate community-created format that is based mostly around the Deckmaster format that Konami had created, where you take a monster like Rainbow Overdragon, and it is your Deckmaster. This represents you on the board. This is like your leader for your deck, right? And with a 60 card deck, excluding extra deck, which could be up to 15, and then also your deck master can be an extra deck monster, so technically 16 monsters, etc. Point being, it is a alternate format where you build a 60 card deck and you sit down with three other players and you play a 4-player game of Yu-Gi-Oh! It is also loosely similar to Commander, if you're familiar with Commander of Magic the Gathering, where you have a commander, and the commander's identity is what dictates your deck, right? But in this case, for domain, it's the domain of your deck. So, very quick example, let's say your deck master was Rainbow Overdragon. Because it is about the Crystal Beasts and Ultimate Crystal archetypes, you are given access to every Crystal Beast and Ultimate Crystal monster, regardless of attribute or type. But then even further, Rainbow Overdragon itself is a light monster, as well as a dragon monster. So you would have access to dragons and light on top of that within your deck. Spells and traps are not affected by domain because they are just general cards and are not affected by a monster's domain specifications. So, if you were to buy this structure deck and then you say, alright, I want to play domain format with it, where do I go? Well, for starters, you're going to get the two extra deck monsters you will need. Overdragon and Overdrive. These are your main goals for the Crystal Beast cards, is to summon these guys. Then, we do that by either Rainbow Dragon or Rainbow Dark, because they are ultimate crystal monsters that are summonable from the deck and can turn into these. So, that is 4 vital cards. But now you need a deck master. Now, I would personally recommend either Crystal Master or Sapphire Pegasus to be your deck master, because either one of these are going to be repeatable, powerful effects that keep you in the game. Sapphire Pegasus being the best starter in the deck, allowing you to grab any Crystal Beast monster and just shoving it into the spell and trap card zone. And Crystal Master allowing you to have a protection effect if you want to pendulum it, or you can use it, tribute it, and grab any ultimate crystal or crystal monster or a spell and trap that is a crystal card. So these are the premium deck masters. I personally lean in the Crystal Master route, but that's because I have a Crystal Beast Yubel variant. There is a deck list for that on my channel if you want to check that out. And as a result, I believe these two are the route to take. So in this case, either one of these is fine for this example, because we're not adding anything to the extra deck. We are simply taking this structure deck and making it legal within domain format by adding cards outside of the deck that are approachable, they're cheap for the most part, I believe, and also showing the support that this structure deck did not give. Which means that you might think, okay, I buy the deck, I get 40 cards, I gotta add 20. You gotta add a little more than that, because some of these cards are not legal within the deck. Hamon is a fun card, but is not legal because it's light and thunder. So if you wanted this to be legal, you would need to run one of the Rainbow Dragons as your deck master, which I personally do not recommend. You want these to be searchable. Like, Rainbow Dragon needs to be searchable by the deck, which we can do by Ultimate or Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon, which comes in the pre-constructed deck, and also searchable by, I believe, Rainbow Bridge of Salvation, which we're going to add later. Either way, this card, not necessary. We don't need a Sacred Beast in here. Dimension Shifter can be legal under Crystal Master as your deck master, but this card is a bit janky because you really don't want this. It's fine, but not necessary. Not legal because it's an insect and earth. Not legal because it's fire and zombie. Earth, zombie. And also, this is just literally not a crystal card. Counter Gem, this card, it's literally a trap. This card is useless. Do not use this card. It is not searchable. It is not a crystal card. It is very dumb, very bad. But also, if you take into account some of these cards that we got outside of this, you get some good hand traps. These are useful outside of this deck. So if you buy this deck, you also get access to a Ghost Spell, Ash Blossom, Contact Sea, and Dimension Shifter, which are useful potentially for a different deck in Domain, or if you're still playing Advanced, they're useful for Advanced format. You get some copies of good hand traps for the Advanced format. And now we will cover some of the stuff within this deck. So, of course, we get the good deck master options in Crystal Master and Sapphire Pegasus. You get Crystal Keeper, which can also potentially be a good deck master if you want to go on the route of Fire, which I will be doing a deck list on as I finish my research on that of what route to take. You get the potent 8th Crystal Beast, the Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon, which is good for extending plays because it can banish itself so you're not locked into 8 names, because Rainbow Dragon wants 7. So you got to be counting as you play. You want 7 Crystal Beasts in field or on graveyard. You don't want more than that, or you cannot summon this, which unlocks you out of getting access to these guys. So keep in mind, 7 is the magic number, and he's number 8. So you want him gone. Either that, or you can use him as a bit of a battle trap, because he can special summon itself to the field, which could be good for extending your combat by summoning out a 3k beater in the middle of combat, or to stop an opponent that cannot get over a 3k beater. And then, of course, we have all 7 of the original Crystal Beasts, Pegasus included. That gives you access to all 7 of the names and everything they do. Most of them are bad, but for the most part, they're fine. This can send a thing back to the deck. This can make it to where it's attacked and nothing else. This raises its own attack in combat. This can shift battle positions. This can attack directly for half damage. This is broken. It can special summon itself, or if it's special summoned from the spell and trap card zone, it brings out every other Crystal Beast. It is a soul charge for the archetype. And Sapphire Pegasus, which you mentioned earlier, that gives you all 7 of the main names, and then magical number 8 with Rainbow Dragon. Then we have our field spells. We have Rainbow Ruins and Advanced Dark. These are both pretty good. Advanced Dark allows you to give them Dark in their type to get access to Rainbow Dark Dragon. And also, when a Ultimate Crystal monster is attacking, the target's effects are fully negated, which can help get over annoying monsters. Rainbow Ruins is a number of effects based on the number of Crystal Beasts in your spell and trap card zone, from it cannot be destroyed to it can have the battle damage once per turn. You can negate a spell and trap and destroy it. You can draw a card, or you can bring out a Crystal Beast monster from the back row and just special summon it, which of course can be Carbuncle to soul charge out your entire back row into the front row, which could be good for plays. If you go and get more serious about this deck, beyond just the structure deck, this deck is really good at doing powerful link summonings. So if you can get out a big board, you can get out generic link monsters with some of these plays that are available in the deck. So then we have our spells. You get access to Crystal Promise to special summon, Rainbow Refraction to bring out a bunch of Crystal Beasts from the deck, which we'll get into later because we're going to be adding 7 more to the deck with our upgrade. Crystal Tree can just be good for piling up some good effects. Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates can shed out a Rainbow Bridge of Salvation, which is in our upgrades, or it can also special summon a monster from the hand, field, graveyard, or spell trap, which is very nice. Crystal Boon is good for getting life points back, which is crucial in this format. Crystal Miracle is a negate. Crystal Brilliance and Crystal Pair are good for battle prevention, but also preventing damage. And then with Crystal Brilliance, it gives your Crystal Beast a stronger attack stat, which can be very nice to swing over things. Crystal Conclave and Ultimate Crystal Magic. Crystal Conclave is good for control, but also can special summon cards out that are destroyed. And then UCM is good for just immediately blitzing out a copy of one of the Rainbow Dragons if it is triggered as a battle trap. We have all kinds of just searchability in this deck. I mean, there's like the search power of Crystal Bond. There's the search power of Rainbow Bridge of the Heart, which also destroys and bounces opponents' cards, which is nice. It gives you an additional normal summon, which is broken. Rainbow Bridge searches out any crystal card, so it's a Crystal Master, but, you know, a spell card. And then Crystal Aegis will also, you know, float a token, but that can also bring out a monster. Crystal Beacon will special summon. Let's see. Crystal Abundance is a board wipe that can also lead to a win because you can send as many Crystal Beasts as possible from Spell and Trap to blow up that many things, blow up everything on the board, and then special summon as many as possible to your field from where they were sent, which is nice. Excuse me, which is nice to board wipe the opponent and wrap it up nicely by beating them in the face. Crystal Blessing is some good graveyard recursion. Get them out, get them back on the field. Rare value is kind of the pot of greed of the deck, which is like fine, but it's not the best. Crystal Release can increase the power of a monster and then also float into another Crystal Beast. And then we have some generic cards here at the very end. So with these generic cards, these are all pretty good. Cosmic Cyclone is good removal. Foolish Burial Goods is a self-mill, which is very good for Rainbow Bridge of Salvation to search out a field spell, which we'll get to later. Meloding of Awakening Dragon. You can pitch a card to add 2 dragons. This is good for 3 targets. We got Rainbow Dragon, and Rainbow Dark Dragon. Who would have thought? They are good with this card to get them out if you don't have access to other things to do. Metaverse, because you can search out a field spell, which is good for this deck. And Ferret Flames can save you. Basically, you can make them get rid of cards to where they do not kill you based on life point totals, which is very nice. And that covers the main deck. Now, we have cards that are outside of this deck that are Crystal Beast support. So for starters, we have Golden Rule. Golden Rule is immediately required for this deck. It is a very good equip spell. You take 2 Crystal Beast monsters from deck that are not the one in your hand. You put them in the spell and trap card zone, and then you special summon a Crystal Beast monster from your hand equipped to this card. This card is insane. It's from hand or graveyard, sorry. So it can also get a graveyard effect, which is nice. Or a graveyard monster. This Golden Rule, along with the other extenders of this deck, can lead to a turn 1 Rainbow, which can lead to a Overdrive or Over Dragon, which is nice. But even better if you're going 4th, meaning that you're the one that can attack per domain format rules, then you could be the one that turn 1's out a big guy and kill somebody outright, which is nice. Golden Rule, very good. It is like required in this deck. Rainbow Bridge of Salvation is kind of our mill target because when it's in graveyard, so we want to mill it with Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates, Foolish Burial Goods, or just in general finding a way to get it out of the deck. When it's in graveyard, you can banish it, and then when you banish it, you can take a Crystal Beast monster and a field spell from deck and add it to your hand. Now, this has powerful connotations because it just says any field spell. So you could get like Necro Valley, you could get Nightmare Throne if you're in a Yubel variant like I am. You could get the Snake Eyes field spell if you're doing a fire variant, which I'm also experimenting with. You could get Advanced Dark, Rainbow Ruins in terms of this deck's structure. You could get Duel Academy, which is also kind of a funny field spell in this deck. And yeah, I mean, the Valence field spells are also funny. And then, so we want to mill this card. And then, of course, we are adding 7 more Crystal Beasts with the release of the Crystal Revenge Battles of Legend set. We got access to all 7 of the advanced Crystal Beasts. So these are the dark variants. They are not dark naturally, but when Advanced Dark is on field, they get their dark attribute. This gives 7 more names to play with for Rainbow Dragon, but also 7 more dark targets for Rainbow Dark Dragon to try to get into Overdragon or Overdrive. Now, each of these have a prerequisite that if Advanced Dark is not on board, they are auto-destroyed. However, you can just place these in the spell and trap card zone and they will not trigger because the auto-destruction is a monster effect, not a spell trap effect. Kind of funny. So you can set these ahead of time to set up for the advanced plays without even having the field spell ready, which is nice. Now, each of these have enhanced versions of their counterparts' abilities, but they need the field spell. The other big downside to the advanced Crystal Beast, but it's still fine as long as you know what you're doing, is that they do not target the old Crystal Beasts, where the old Crystal Beasts can target any of the Crystal Beasts. So, for example, if you were to summon Sapphire Pegasus versus Advanced Pegasus can only target Advanced Crystal Beasts from anywhere, the added bonus being that it can get cards from Banish, where regular Pegasus cannot. So, in Advanced, you can get any Advanced Crystal Beast from hand, field, grave, deck, Banish, put it in the spell and trap card zone. Sapphire Pegasus, though, can get any Crystal Beast monster from hand, deck, grave, throw it into the spell and trap card zone, but this one can target these. But these cannot target the old ones. That is an important discretion to have. Obviously, Sapphire Pegasus and Advanced Pegasus are the best starters in the deck. They do the same thing. Carbuncle, however, this one's more broken because it can special summon itself from the spell and trap card zone without a other card doing it, but then it can bring forward all the advanced Crystal Beasts in the spell and trap card zone. And then if this gets destroyed, rinse and repeat, this card can be very annoying to deal with. Cobalt Eagle can be pitched from hand or field to search out the Advanced Dark field spell, which is very nice. But it can also bounce a card to the deck, which is also good. Topaz Tiger gives a Anthem effect to all Advanced Crystal Beasts with 400 attack and defense. Emerald Tortoise can quick effect change the battle position of a monster, not yours, included, which is nice. Amethyst Cat can make all Advanced Crystal Beasts attack directly for half damage. However, with a card like Crystal Brilliance, effectively raising their attack stat, this, along with Amethyst Cat, can be very powerful alongside Advanced Topaz Tiger to attack directly in a Toon, like a Toon Monster style win, where you just attack over and win, which is very nice, or Ninjas. Ninjas could do that as well. And Amber Mammoth, which got like the biggest glow up I feel like of any of the Advanced Crystal Beasts cards, it can negate an attack outright, but it can also negate an effect targeting a Advanced Crystal monster, which is very good. So an additional negate alongside Crystal Miracle, and then Amber Mammoth also gives you a negate, which is very nice. So with cards outside of the deck, we are adding 9 cards, all 7 of the Advanced Crystal Beasts, Rainbow Bridge of Salvation, and Golden Rule, and that gives you access to all of the crystal cards we're adding. Now, lastly, we have generic support. We have Ebon Sun from the latest set. This card is very good. If a face-up monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can gain life points equal to their combined original attack. If a monster special summon face-up from your graveyard, you can target one of them and it gains 1,000 attack. Then if a spell or trap is discarded from your hand to your graveyard, you can target one of them and add it to your hand. So basically, if you're told to discard, no. If you special summon, they get stronger from the graveyard. And if your cards are destroyed, your face-up monsters, you gain life points. This is good in a 4-player format where you are extending your life to stay in the game. Multi-universe is very useful generically in order to search out field spells that have been destroyed, and then also float this from the graveyard and banish it in order to protect the field spells. Very useful effect. Supply Squad is good generically because every time you destroy a monster, you will draw a card once per turn. If your opponent does it, you draw a card. If you do it with Rainbow Bridge of the Heart or Crystal Miracle or any of your other effects to destroy your own Crystal Beasts, Supply Squad will draw you a card. This is very good. Painful Choice is just hilarious because you can mill out 5 Crystal Beasts. They can pick one. You don't really care too much. And with this, along with depending on how your opening hand is, you can immediately go with a turn 1 Rainbow Dragon into a Overdrive. This is very powerful. Pot of Avarice, shuffle in 5 monsters to draw 2 cards. Very good effect to keep our names consistent with what's in grave, our numbers, but also to get good cards back into the deck to draw. Graceful Charity because it's legal. Pot of Greed because it's legal. Call by the Grave for a little bit of some general graveyard hate. This deck does not want to be graveyard hated, but we need to be able to do it to the opponents that also have good graveyard wants. We want cards in grave. We want to be able to do stuff about opponents that do that as well. Dark Hole, because it's just good generic board wiping. This targets all monsters, so in domain format, it kills all 4 monsters, or all 4 players' monsters. Mirror Force is also very good in this format because it can interact with monsters that are not even attacking you. This could be good to protect another player for some political plays. And speaking of board wipes, we got Torrential Tribute to destroy all monsters. This is good just to clean up a board that is being annoying. And Giant Trunade because we don't always want to destroy the back rows because our back row is important to us, but we do want to bounce them, which is also good. And lastly, for a little bit of monster support, we have Adularia of the June Moon. Now, this would lean on you going with Crystal Master as the deck master, because without it, you cannot run it. This is a water spellcaster, and Crystal Master is a spellcaster. So, if Crystal Master is your deck master, then you can run Adularia of the June Moon, which can special summon itself out from hand, as long as you have a card in the spell and trap card zone face up. This is really easy for this deck to do. And then it gets like 600 attack for every face up spell trap on the field. There are 4 players. This card's going to be huge. And then also, you can send 2 face-up cards from your spell and trap card zone to the graveyard and mill a level 4 or lower monster from your deck to the graveyard. This could be extremely good for getting value or certain cards out of the deck that you want into the graveyard, and also to clean up your back row for other cards to do things. And that leads us to exactly 60 cards. So if you were to take all of these cards right here, including these new Crystal Beast cards, and all this right here, you would have a legal domain deck of 60 cards with 2 extra deck monsters, and you'd be ready to play. And you could do this all for leaning in the direction of under $30. $30, I think, is the high end of this, but if it is around there, then yes. If you buy the structure deck and a couple extra cards to add, you are ready to play domain format with your friends for under $30 or around $30, which is very good entry price to get into an alternative format versus, some of the other formats that could be much more expensive to get into, like Edison or even GOAT. So with that in mind, I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you're now ready. You're primed. You're going from structure deck to domain duelist. And hopefully this will be useful. And if you have any thoughts down below of what you would add to this upgraded structure deck, whether it's to the extra deck or to the main deck. Drop your thoughts down below, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.